Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would share with you a little bit of my work with the goddess Aphrodite and how I approach deity work in general. If you had watched my ins and outs, my 2024 practice video, you would have heard me mention that I wanted to get into more deity work. So I thought I would go ahead and talk a little bit of how this goddess recently came about for me. I wait until I have some sort of sign, some sort of repetitive message happening for me over and over and over. So far, any goddess or deities have approached me in dreams. Aphrodite was never on my radar at all to work with. I never thought about doing anything with her. I never considered calling out to her to work with her. But a few months ago, she started showing up in my dreams. It was people talking to me about Aphrodite in my dreams. It was being told in my dream to ask Aphrodite, she'll have an answer for you. And after those dreams continued to reoccur, I started to wake up and pay attention to it. Now, from there, I wait for signs to show up in my everyday life. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't talk about Aphrodite out loud to anybody, and I didn't want to search anything up on a smart device about Aphrodite. I just wanted to wait and see how things presented themselves, because we all know that if you search something up, that it goes into a tracking system, and then it starts showing up in multiple different ways for you. So I did none of that. And it became apparent when I would start seeing videos pop up about working with Aphrodite. I would be scrolling social media and there would be multiple posts with the Tarot of Aphrodite deck or people talking about deity work with Aphrodite. And I just found that as a kind of a, okay, let's start exploring this avenue now. So then I began my research on her and decided to look into why she would be reaching out to me because of what she could aid me in. And last year I was on a self-care, and I wanted to adopt a more self-care, let's put it that way, into my life, and really didn't. I didn't do it. And there's some other personal aspects of, after I researched about her, that I thought, okay, this is why she's stepping forward for me. So I decided to go ahead and embrace her and to call her forward. So if I was going to do that and I was going to call her forward into my energy in order to work with her, I thought I better have some sort of offering or something to dedicate to her in order to work with her. And that's when I created this candle. Now, I should also say that this card continued to pop out of the Divine Ephemera Oracle by Krista at Krista Chronicles. This was constantly popping out of the deck, falling on the floor, and as another sign to work with her. So I copied Krista's card on black and white, just a black and white copy, and spot colored it in the colors that I wanted for this candle. And then I just bought a cheap white candle and glued this to the front of it. And hopefully This is showing for you on camera. And then I got some flat back pearls and glued those on here, added a little bit of bling to the top. I have some seashell washi tape down here at the bottom to represent her, and then I wanted to make sure I added in the color blue along with the pinks and the reds that I added. So I started out with this candle, and what I did was every time I came to work with her, when I would light this candle, I would put my offering in the top of the candle. So as I continue to use this candle, more and more little offerings are being added to it. Some of the offerings that I have given to Aphrodite have been rose petals. There's a few rose quartz chips that I have in here. Some vanilla I put in here. I think there's some broken up cinnamon, and a few little seashells that I have also put into here as I've been lighting and working with this candle. And I'm finding it very I guess magical in doing it that way. I don't really have a specific candle that I dedicated to Mother Mary or even to the Morrigan. This is the second candle I ever created. I did create one for Bridget, and I never used it for offerings. So I'm getting a very nice connection with Aphrodite and working with her in this manner of putting my little offerings at the top of this candle. And something else that I've done for the first time is this little poppet. I've never made a poppet for myself before, and this is I would say, ranking up there in the top 5 of the most magical things that I have done. And I just, when she was speaking to me in a meditation, I just felt that it was necessary to create a poppet like this. And just holding my hands over it, you could just feel it pulsating, the energy pulsating. So how I did this was, my poor little stitching is worse for wear, I guess, but you know what? It doesn't matter because it was made by me. So every stitch in here, as far as I'm concerned, is a magical stitch. I didn't print out anything. I hand drew this figure on some cardstock, kind of measured the legs and the arms just to make sure that it was symmetrical a little bit, cut it out, and then taped it to some fabric and started cutting. And when I put it together, this little poppet is my self-care poppet, is my nurturing poppet, my self-love poppet, you know, anything along those lines. And as I was creating her, I used some fiberfill to give her body, but she's filled with more than that. She is filled with intentions that are placed in different areas of her body that I wrote on paper and sat with and folded in a clockwise motion to build up the energy to those intentions. And when I was ready or wanted them in a specific place, I would tuck it in there and then tuck fiberfill around it to hold that intention in place. And I'm just going over those details of this in case you've never made a poppet before. Like I said, this was my first one. And so I'm just kind of explaining how I worked with it or how I created it. Along with those intentions of self-love and self-care that I put into her, I also put in crystals in certain areas of the body. I also put in herbs that would facilitate what my different intentions were in certain parts of the body. And dedicated it to my self-care and self-love and my work with Aphrodite. What I find interesting is I cleaned up my entire space after it was done, and this was over on my sacred space. And there was nothing in these hands at all. And I mean, this is weird but there's nobody else in my household besides me and my husband, and he does not touch a thing on my sacred space. And when I went to work with her a couple days ago, underneath her was this tiny piece of rose quartz. I have no idea how that piece of rose quartz got there. I did not put it there. It did not accidentally fall there. It's just interesting that that rose quartz piece showed up underneath this poppet. Now this, on the other hand, I do place on top of the poppet and keep it here to centered on my heart chakra to continue to work at healing that and opening it, which is why that sits here. So I thought I would share the decks that I'm using to work with her energy and how I'm using them. So to stick with my low buy year that I am trying to do, I decided to shop my stash and use the Casanova Tarot. Now, I would prefer to have the Tarot of Aphrodite deck, but I'm trying to be good and not purchase anything. So I'm using the Casanova Tarot. Now, I am also using the Wisdom of the Divine Feminine, which is an indie deck. And I am using, this is an early birthday gift from my husband, the Magical Spirit Oracle. So after I have lit my candle and sat with just her energy for a while, I will then get the Divine Feminine deck and shuffle it up and ask her what energy I need to work in at this time, or what energy am I missing or I need to embrace, or whatever I'm feeling in the moment. I change it every time I go to her. And I'll shuffle the cards, and so let's just say that the energy is compassion. So I'll take a moment to breathe that energy in, to see where maybe compassion is lacking in my life. Maybe I'm lacking a compassion for myself or for others, and then I will use the Casanova Tarot, shuffle it up, and pull my cards for that to see where I maybe need to embrace the compassion, what is the biggest lesson I need to learn from compassion right now, and so on. Again, I switch that up too, depending on what energy comes out, and each card will have like an answer to a different question that I've come up with at the time of the session with her. And then after I journal on that and take that all in, I will use the Magical Spirit Oracle as my final takeaway. So what energy do I need to take with me for the rest of the day? Or, what energy would I need to take with me for the rest of the week? Whatever I feel in the moment, and pull a card for that. And trust in the places you feel guided towards, space, time, and self. And then I would look in the guidebook and read more about that card and how that would fit into the realm of compassion, and maybe, what I took from the reading. These readings and this work in this short amount of time have been so powerful. It really has amazed me, and I'm really enjoying the work with the self-care poppet, self-love poppet that I created, because the energy that has been infused into that doll and the powerful results that I am getting in working with that doll have been purely magical for me this month. And I just find everything to be so very synchronistic. The whole workings with her have been very powerful and magical. I even purchased this little goddess of Aphrodite from Bridget's Grove on Etsy. I just love these little goddesses. I think they're the most magical thing. So she was a little birthday gift to myself. And this is another thing that I could, charge and hold and while I'm working with her. So it's been a very enriching feeling working in her energy for right now. I will tell you, she is different than any of the other 3 deities that I have worked with. I'm really enjoying my work with this deity. So I would love to hear from you how you work with deity. Have you ever worked with Aphrodite? Do you dedicate a candle to them in some way? What about your work with poppets? Have you ever made a poppet before and, put the intentions inside of them while creating them? And I'm really so excited how this has turned out, that there is another poppet that I would like to make for my work with Mother Mary. Let me know in the comments what you work with, or a deity that you've worked with, or like I said, if you've done anything with Aphrodite before. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until I see you next time, bye.